so that every time you want to spend, you're not doing like this. Can I not? No, 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 no. Your budget will tell you because you've written it down. Hello friends, welcome back to my channel, The Bulletproof Life. My name is Ronke Odelwumi and I'm delighted to have you here. If you are new to my channel, on here I talk about budgeting, saving, investing, becoming debt-free, creating wealth, growing wealth, and creating a life that is free from financial troubles. Today, I'm going to be answering the top 15 questions about budgeting that you guys and a lot of people have asked on Google. So what I've done is that I've gone online and I've gotten the 15 top questions about budgeting that's getting asked on YouTube, on Google, online. You guys are typing in those questions because you want to know. And in this video, I'm going to be answering those questions for you. So if you see me looking down, it's because I'm looking down at the piece of paper where I have printed out the 15 questions I'm going to be answering. At the end of this video, you should have the answers to those questions that most of the people in this world have asked online about budgeting. So let's get right into these 15 questions. The first question I have here is this: budgeting can be defined or described as what? Well, budgeting can be defined as a plan for how you want to spend money. Whether you are a person or a business or a company or whatever, budgeting is simply your spending plan. It's a plan for how you want to spend money that you have or money that you will get over a period of time, either a month or 6 months or a year. So for you as an individual, budgeting is a plan of how you want to spend your income. Question number 2, are budgeting and planning the same? Yes, when it comes to money, budgeting and planning is the same. Budgeting money is planning how to spend money. I kind of answered that in question 1. Question 3, can budgeting help credit score? Budgeting does not directly help your credit score, but when you budget your money, it can help you come out of debt. It can help you reduce your credit spending ratio and then improve your credit score because you are budgeting and you are aware of when you need to make debt payments. You are making your debt payments on time. You are not missing payments, and then that can help you increase your credit score. So indirectly, budgeting can increase credit score. Question number 4, how is budgeting done? Well, budgeting is done by listing out your expenses against your income and making sure that your income for the month can cover the expenses you have for that month. So you first of all need to know how much you are earning, either weekly or fortnightly or monthly, and then you need to know what you need to spend your money on for that month. A good way of checking what you need to spend your money on is to look at your historical spending. What have you been spending money on in the last 3 to 6 months? That will help you determine your expenses, and then you write them down against your income. Now, some people like to write it down on a loose piece of paper every month, but I always advise against that because if you lose the paper, then you don't have an idea per se of what you budgeted for, and you can't track it easily if it's just on a loose piece of paper. So I always say to people, either you use a spreadsheet on a computer, you use an app, or you use a budget and saving book like the one I have here, which I have on Amazon, and I will drop the link in the description section. This book is the easiest way for you to do your budget. It's got columns inside for every month for you to record your income and your expenses, and then for you to also track how you are spending that budget. So we'll get to that later, but let's keep answering the questions. Number 5, why is budgeting important and how does budgeting help me? Budgeting is important because it helps you take control of your spending. It helps you decide where your money should go. You've worked hard for the money, you get paid, and then you should be able to be in the driver's seat of your own spending to control what your money does. It helps you make sure that you are spending your money on the important things, the things that are actually important to you that you prioritize. So it helps you ensure that you spend your money on your rent or your mortgage, food, clothing, transport, important things before you then spend on things that are not so important. So budgeting allows you to prioritize your money properly. Budgeting will help you to come out of debt. because it will allow you to make your debt payments on time, to know how much you can dedicate to debt payment so that you can negotiate with your lenders. Budgeting will allow you to understand your cash flow, what is coming in into your account and what is leaving. So it allows you to then decide if something is costing you too much, if it's taking too much of your income, and then you can either drop it or negotiate it down, or completely remove it from your budget. At the same time, when you have that strong idea of your cash flow, you know how much you can invest. And if you're somebody who has been on my Instagram or you've been in my investing masterclass, you will know that I always say the best time to start investing is now, or the best time to start investing was 10 years ago, and the next best time is now. So your budget allows you to make investing plans. That is how your budget helps you. And that is why budgeting is important. Question number 6. When budgeting, what are the first categories to consider? So if you watch my video, How to Budget, I talked about the 3 big departments that you have when you budget. And it's the essential department, the non-essential department, and the saving department. So the first department, the essential department, is the one that has the first set of categories you need to consider, because that's the first place you are going to budget for. So the first categories you should be considering are essential things like rent or mortgage, because you need to have a roof over your head. You need to consider your bills, electricity, gas, water, council tax if you pay it in your jurisdiction. If you're in the UK, you probably pay council tax, and so council tax should be considered. Once you've taken out your rent or mortgage and your key bills like electricity, gas, water, and council tax, then food is the next thing you need to have in that budget. Once you have these things covered, you can then talk about transport, because you probably need to commute to work. If you're like me and you're still working from home, then your transport costs are lower or almost zero, and you probably need to consider fuel because you drive your car around once in a while. So these are the first key categories you need to consider. They are under the essential department. They are the things that you absolutely must have, the things that you absolutely must cover in your budget. These things are the first categories that need to go into your budget. So just in case you didn't get that, it's rent or mortgage, electricity, gas, water, council tax, food, transport. There are some other categories that are also very important that you need to consider, but these are the first ones that come to my mind straight away. And so these are the first categories you need to consider in your budget. Question 7. When budgeting, the rule of thumb for a vehicle is what? This is interesting. So when you want to buy a vehicle, affordability is something that you should consider. And I personally always use the rule of thumb that if you can't pay off a car in 3 years, some say 4, I say 3, in 3 years you can't afford it. So when budgeting, the rule of thumb for a car, monthly payment should be 10% of your net income. So if your income is £2,000 monthly, you shouldn't have more than £200 dedicated to paying off a car monthly. So if you are paying off a car, that should tell you that £200 times 36 times is what you should have as your total payment for that car if your income is £2,000. Of course, you can have a lump payment you have made at the time you purchase the car in order to reduce your monthly payment. So what I'm saying is that your car cost should be a lump payment, which you made at the time of purchase, and then 36 other payments in which every month you pay only 10% of your income. So 10% of your income monthly should go to car purchase in your budget. It shouldn't exceed that. If it's less, super. But if the maximum you should be putting to a car purchase every month in your budget is 10% of your income. That is my rule of thumb. Where to get budgeting advice? You're already getting budgeting advice from me. That's what I'm doing here. This is where you get budgeting advice, by talking to people like me, by reading books, by watching YouTube videos. Instagram has a lot of financial gurus. If you're not following me on Instagram, I'm putting up my Instagram name up there now, so you can see that. Please find me on Instagram and follow me. I've got a lot of things to say about budgeting. I've got videos on my channel about budgeting, how to budget. So I'm your girl. I'm here to give you budgeting advice. You don't need to run around for anything else. Get in my inbox. Talk to me. Watch my videos. I've got budgeting advice for you. Talk to me. I can answer your questions. Question number 9. Are budgeting apps safe? Are they worth it? Well, so far, the budgeting apps I know and I have used are safe. I've not lost money to any of them. None of them have tried to clear my account. Emma is a budgeting app I use very well. Yolt is another budgeting app I use quite well, and neither of them have given me any problems at all. I'm dropping a link to Emma in my description section so that you can download it and try it if you are somebody who likes budgeting apps. Question number 10. Which budgeting app is best? I won't really say any budgeting app is best, but Emma and Yolt are two budgeting apps that I swear by. I've used them and I like them and I enjoy them. So those are my budgeting apps if you want to try them. I'm particularly biased towards Emma because it's one I have on my phone right now that I use. So you might want to try that out. Again, link in the description to Emma if you would like to try it out. Which budgeting method is best? There are different budgeting methods, but zero-based budgeting method is one I favor, and that is when you allocate all your money every month to something. Every penny that I earn has to go to something. So if it's not going to spending like essentials, non-essential spending, or paying off a debt, you should be going to saving or investing. Do something with that money. If it's money that you don't want to save, you don't want to invest, it can go to an emergency fund. It can go somewhere. It needs to go somewhere. So personally, zero-based budgeting is my favored budgeting method, is the one I use, is the one I recommend, and is one I say when you use it, it's a great way to be in control of your money because you are telling every penny where to go. We are efficient people on a journey to financial freedom, so we use the zero-based budgeting because that way we tell our money where to go, every penny of it. Question 12. What are budgeting techniques? What's the difference between budgeting technique and budgeting methods? Budgeting techniques, they are just the way you decide to budget. You know, you can have a zero-based budget, like I said earlier. You can have a rolling budget. It's just the way you've decided to budget your money. It's your method of budgeting your money. It's the rules you've decided to follow in budgeting. And once you decide a particular method of budget, you need to stick with it. So you can't use zero-based budget this month and then use rolling budget next month. You can't do that. It will confuse you. It will confuse your spending, confuse your tracking, confuse all of it. So you need to pick a specific budgeting method and then stick with that, month in, month out. I mean, at the end of a year, your own financial year, which is probably December. My year runs from January to December financially. So when your year ends, you can decide to change your budgeting method. But I would say stick to a particular budgeting method for at least a year so you don't confuse yourself. Who should budget? Seriously, guys, who should budget? Seriously, we are all budgeting. You're budgeting. I'm budgeting. Everybody's budgeting. We are all budgeting because we are on the way to financial freedom. When you don't budget, you are not telling your money what to do. You are not telling it where to go. And it will go where you don't want it to go. If you don't budget your money, you will constantly be broke. I've read so many stories. I've heard so many stories of people who won the lottery, millions, and then 2 years, 3 years, 5 years down the lane, they are broke. Legit, they are broke. Like, how do you get 3 millions and then you're broke? They didn't budget the money. They didn't plan it. So when somebody comes and says, oh, I have a business idea, 2 million, bring it, they'll give them. If they want to buy this one, they won't check if it's working for them. They'll buy it. And even when the money is about to finish, they won't even know it's about to finish because they're not budgeting. So they will keep spending. And then one day they wake up and they're broke. I mean, that's just an example. This can happen to any one of us when we don't budget. So who's budgeting? All of us, people. All of us. You're budgeting. I'm budgeting. We're budgeting. We're a budgeting family. That sounds like a jingle. Okay. Question number 14. Why does my budget not work? This is a good one. A lot of people have stopped budgeting or don't budget well because it's not working for them. And the reason why your budget isn't working is, one, is unrealistic. You are budgeting money you don't have. You are planning to spend 5,000 when you earn 3,000. Your budget is unrealistic. You're not including the right categories. You're not covering your utility bills. You're not covering your rent. You need a new winter coat. You're not covering it in your budget. You're not, covering all the key categories that you need to cover. And so at the end of the month, your budget is not really doing what it should be doing for you. It's not letting you prioritize your money. Another reason why your budget is not working is that you're not including fun money. You need to be realistic and include fun money. You want to have fun. You like to order out once in a while. Include it in your budget. You like to buy some games, or you have a hobby that you like to spend a little bit of money on. Include it in your budget. That is your fun money. Your budget needs to cover it. The other reason why your budget might not be working is that you are complicating it. Some people have really complicated budgets. You just complicate it. And that's why you need again to get this book, because I've kept it simple for you, not complicated at all. You just need to fill in a few boxes and your budget is ready to go. So budgeting doesn't need to be complicated. It doesn't need to be overwhelming, because if it's complicated and overwhelming, it won't work for you, because you won't go back to it. You will just do it 1 month and forget about it for the rest of the month, or even for the rest of the year. And then you are winging it, you are winging your spending and all of that. Another reason why your budget might not be working is because it's in your head. Who are you? You're putting your budget in your head. Look at you. Look at you the way you're looking at me. Your budget should not be in your head. It needs to be written down, so that every time you want to spend, you're not doing like this. Can I not? No. Your budget will tell you, because you've written it down. Again, I know I'm banging on quite a bit. Write it down. Write it down. Write your budget down. If you can't write it in a book, if you don't want to write it in a book, you want to have access to it, in the middle of the night, everywhere, on the train, wherever you're going, and you don't want to carry a book, get a budgeting app like Emma. Write your budget down. Your budget is not working because it's in your head. Look at your head like my head. Your budget should not be in your head. It should be written down somewhere, people. So these reasons, which I've just mentioned, are some of the things that cause your budget not to work. And that brings me to the last question on this list, which is, why is budgeting important for college students? Budgeting is important for college students for the same reason why it's important for everybody else: to help you take control of your spending. The fact that you're a college student and you don't have an income the way people who work largely full-time have an income doesn't mean you can't budget your allowance. You can't budget the income you have from your part-time job. You can budget the income you get from your part-time job. You can budget your allowance. You can budget your student loan, which you are allocating to help you through college, because you are going to pay it back. And because you are going to pay it back, it needs to be spent on the right things. That way, you are not asking for more of that loan when you don't need it, because the first one you've gotten, you've budgeted it right, you've stretched it well, it's gone to the right things, and so you are not under crippling debt. As a college student, budgeting will keep you out of debt. It will keep your debt low if you have student loan, so that when you finish school, you can budget your way into paying off that loan quickly and continue your journey to financial freedom. So as a college student, if you are not yet budgeting, darling, get on it. Get on it. Start budgeting that money. Start planning it. Start telling your money where to go and what to do for you. So guys, I've now answered the top 15 budgeting questions you've been asking online, on YouTube, on Google, and so on. If there are other budgeting questions I haven't covered, which you think I should, drop me a comment in the comment section. I will answer you in the comment section or do a video about it. If there is any other topic you would like me to talk about, which I haven't covered in my videos, which means you've watched my videos and you've subscribed, drop me a comment in the comment section and I'm your girl. I'll come up with a video for you ASAP. If you've enjoyed this video, which I hope you have, please like it, drop me a comment, connect with me, be a part of the Bulletproof community, share it with your friends on WhatsApp, share it on Facebook, let them join the community, bring them along, let's all do this together, build a bulletproof life, bulletproof our money and all of that. If you haven't subscribed, red button on your right, press it, and don't forget to press the notification bell so that you can get notification every time I share a new video. I share videos on Mondays and Thursdays. As we prep for Christmas, I hope you are keeping Christmas on a budget. I hope you are not going crazy with your money and spending it in a way that's going to leave you hanging in January. Until my next video, you take care of yourself and keep living that bulletproof life. Bye-bye.